If you're looking to set goals in 2021, then in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you my 4-step process on how to set goals the right way so you can achieve them in 2021. So stay tuned. Okay, so in this video, I want to share with you my 4-step process for setting goals the right way so that you can achieve them in 2021. Now, what I'm going to be doing is sharing with you a system and a method out of my book, The Code Reaching Excellence. We'll put a link around here somewhere so you can download that book if you want to get it, and it's the inspiration section. Now, this is something that I put together after years of being stuck, hitting plateaus, and it's what I teach my private mentees and also my academy members. People like Duncan Cook, who've gone out to raise, he's gone out and raised £6 million in private funding and doubled the amount of deals he's done. Got people like Jazz and Nisha, they've manifested everything they want. They've gone out and raised 700 grand. We've got everyday people who've just got started. Now, this video is not about them. This is about you. And this is about me sharing with you my model and my system, which has been described as goal setting on steroids. That's going to help you to overcome a lot of the challenges that people have when it comes to putting goals into practice and also getting them done in a really efficient way. So I'm going to be sharing with you 4 things. Now, the first thing I'm going to share with you is a system that I've developed. It's my framework. It's my model for implementation. And it's called the 4 phases of implementation. So let's dive straight into this. Now, whenever it comes to taking a goal or a business strategy or a property strategy, whenever you're taking something that you haven't done before and you're trying to put it into practice, you're going to go through what is called the 4 key stages of learning. So let's talk about what that is. The first stage is called unconscious incompetence. So what does that mean? It basically means you don't know what you don't know. Then you go out and do something, then you realize you can't quite do it, or it's a little bit harder than, gurus made out, or the people who sold you the course or workshop made out to be, and then you come up against some resistance. And it's at that point you then realize that you don't know something. You then realize there's a gap in your skill, your knowledge, and there's something missing. Okay, and this is where people encounter a lot of resistance, and this is where a lot of people get stuck and they either give up, or they go and do a U-turn and go do something different, or go back to what they were doing before, or they kind of get distracted by shiny penny syndrome and go and do something else which they think is going to be easier because they don't know how to overcome that resistance. The next stage is that you know that you don't know how to do something, but you develop the skill that you need. So let's put this into a property context, okay? Maybe you don't know how to negotiate with vendors. Maybe you don't know how to talk to agents. Perhaps you don't know how to raise private finance, but you go and develop that skill. And then once you've developed that skill and you've been doing it for a while, you kind of got it into like a degree of competence. You've got kind of skill in doing it. You've done it and it's starting to work. And then, you get to the point where you do it so much, it becomes like an instinctive thing, okay, where you just do it. And that's the stage where you've got unconscious competence, which means you're competent, but you don't think about doing it. Let me give you a different example to make this a little bit clearer for you, okay? Let's go back to driving a car. Now, most people have learned how to drive a car. If you go back to when I was 17 years of age and I got into a car with a driving instructor asked me if I knew how to drive. And somewhat arrogantly, I said to him, yes, because I knew in theory what to do. I'd seen my dad drive, I'd seen friends drive. I knew it theoretically, but I hadn't actually had the practice. So I get in the car, I put the car into gear, I lift my foot off the clutch, I feel the clutch starting to bite, I let the handbrake down, I release the clutch too quickly, the car stalls, I put my foot back down on the clutch, the car rolls, I panic. The driving instructor with the dual controls manages to stop the car, and at this point, I've slightly panicked. And at this point is when I realized that, hang on a second, I thought I knew how to do something, but actually I've learned and discovered that I'm not competent when it comes to balancing the clutch. So at that point, I became conscious of my incompetence of not being able to balance the clutch properly. That's when that kind of, your confidence gets knocked a little bit. You sometimes feel like, oh, I don't know this. And you can have a little bit of fear, a little bit of doubt. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the hang of this or what I need to do. And it's at that point you learn the skill, which is, I learned how to balance the clutch. I learned to drive off properly. I knew what gear I needed to be. I eventually passed my test. And then once I'd been driving, even though I was driving for a while and I got my license, I still had to think about what gear I was in and, how to use the clutch and am I going up a hill and et cetera, et cetera. And it got to a point where I was driving for years that I got in the car and I didn't even think about it. Man and machine became one. So we need to understand this. Whenever it comes to putting a goal or a business strategy or a property strategy in place, you're going to go through these 4 key stages of learning. And it's important that you understand this framework, because if you do not understand this framework, what's going to happen is you're going to get met with resistance and you're going to fall and trip over whenever you start to feel uncomfortable, whenever you start to feel that negative voice in your head, any self-doubt creeps in. That's going to knock your confidence. It's going to derail you. So let's move on to the next section of this, which is really about understanding the 4 phases of implementation. So this is a model I developed, which is something that I experienced as a property investor when I first tried to put things into practice. So you've got 4 phases of strategy implementation, and it's the 4 phases that you go through when it comes to implementing a goal as well. Now, the first stage you got is what I call the euphoria phase. So let's put this into context. Imagine you join a course, you join a mastermind, some kind of workshop. You're there, you're feeling good, you're feeling euphoric because you got the buzz of doing something new. You think that you're on this path and you're guaranteed to get results. Well, actually, this phase can give you a false sense of security because it can give you a false win. Because a lot of people assume that because they've joined the mastermind, they've joined a course, they've joined a workshop, that they're going to be able to get the results. That's not necessarily the case, okay? So we have this phase of feeling euphoric, which feels good. Then we go to the next phase, which is where you put things into practice and then you realize, oh, sugar, this is harder than what I thought. This is what I call the epiphany phase, because this is where you meet resistance. And let's talk about resistance. So what do I mean by resistance? Fear, self-doubt, that negative voice inside your head, sometimes lack of confidence, sometimes imposter syndrome. All these negative feelings can come up, and it's really important that you understand that they're normal and it's part of the journey, but also you need to learn how to navigate them. Once you learn how to navigate them, you then move to the next phase, which is what I call the evolution phase, which is where you've learned and you've grown. You've discovered where the gaps are in your skill set. You've been able to plug them, learn new things, learn how to negotiate with vendors, learn how to talk to estate agents, learn how to go raise private funds. You're learning the strategies and the things that you need to learn. So you've plugged those gaps and you're starting to evolve, and then you're starting to be able to put these things into practice and get some results. But it's very easy at this phase, at the evolution phase, to like get some small wins, but get stuck because it's very easy to hit a plateau. The next stage is what I call the excellence phase. This is where you've really gone beyond, and this is where you grow and ascend. Like you've been doing something for a while, okay, and you've got conscious competence in it. You know what to do, you know how to do it, but you break through those glass ceilings and those plateaus. So this is a really, really important model that you need to understand. This framework is essential for whether you're implementing a property strategy, a business strategy, or a goal. If you want to get from here to here, you need to understand the psychological and the emotional resistance that you're going to encounter when it comes to setting a goal. So let's move on to the next section, which is having a compelling vision for life. Okay, so why do we need to have a compelling vision for life? Well, for most of the time when people come to me and they work with me, the thing that they want to achieve is financial freedom. They want more time, they want more money, they want more security, they want to be able to spend time with their family. So having a set of goals around your business is not the end goal. That's not going to fire you up. Now, it might be it might be important to a point, but what you need to do is look at the bigger picture. And the thing that I say to people all the time is this, okay? Your property goals are not the end result. Your property business or your business goals are the vehicle to get you from where you are now to where you want to be. And what does that mean? Well, it really means living life on your terms. So you need to create a compelling vision for life. That is really engineering what your life wants, what you want your life to be like. So it's really important that you create a vision that's aligned to your core values. So what do I mean by that? Well, often people come to me and go, yeah, I've got a vision board, and they've got all these fancy things on a vision board. And I say to them, okay, this is all great. Let's go through a process of eliciting your values. What does that mean? It means writing down on a list what's important to you. So I ask my clients, what's important to you? What's important to you about your life? What do you want to have? And they might say things like, I want security, I want time, I want to quit my job, I want to spend time with my family, I want to spend time with loved ones. I'm passionate about charity. I want to help out in this particular charity, or I want to give back in some way, shape, or form. Okay, or I want to have a certain lifestyle. I want to go and travel the world, visit different places. I want to retire and come out of my business. There's all these things that are values that are important to us. So it's really important that you don't just have a vision board that's got all these fancy pictures on it that you cut out of magazines or you've screenshotted. You have to have a compelling vision for your life that's aligned to your values. And this is super, super important, because what happens is when we go through this process, what we're actually doing is we are programming both the conscious and the subconscious part of our mind to start linking our business and our business objectives to the lifestyle that we want to create. Why is this important? Well, it's fundamentally important because as you go through those 4 phases of implementation, and as you go through that learning curve, a lot of people quit there because they haven't got a big enough reason why. If you haven't got a compelling vision for life and you haven't got a big enough reason why, then your excuses will be. So it's essential that you get this bit right. So what do? We create a compelling vision for our life. How do we do that? Well, I encourage people to use things like Google Slides, PowerPoint or Keynote. And what you want to be doing is creating a slide for each area of your life, each value. So for example's sake, for me, my family and my kids are really important to me. So I'll have a slide with pictures of my family, pictures of my kids, and things that I want to manifest for them. So experiences, holidays, things that they want to do. You know, they want to go off horse riding, they want to go off and travel, they want to go and experience things. So as a family, we have that conversation about what they want to do, and we put it on our compelling vision so that I can manifest that for us. And that's really, really important, because this is going to give you a big reason why. A lot of the times, people won't do a great deal for themselves, but they'll do way more for other people. And for those of you who got kids, I'm sure you would do anything for your kids or the people that matter the most to you. So going through this process of having a slide with all the things that you want in a particular value or context of your life is really important. So I'd suggest that you look at things like family. What do you want for your retirement? What kind of lifestyle do you want? And put all those things on your vision board. And then what we're going to do in a moment, we're going to go to the next step, which is how to manifest that stuff. Okay. Now, this is super, super important that you've got a compelling vision for life, because it needs to draw you to it. It's got to pull on your heartstrings. It's got to make you feel passionate about what you want to do. Because guess what, guys? Let me be honest. Okay. If property, business, entrepreneurship was that easy, everyone would be doing it. You're always going to come up against resistance, okay? And the biggest resistance that you're going to find is inside of here and inside of here. So it's important that we use this process that I'm teaching you to navigate and overcome that stuff. So having a compelling vision for life is super, super important. It's got to be something that you look at on a daily basis. You have it as a screensaver on your laptop, on your phone. I always encourage my clients to have it all over their office where they can see it daily, because it's a daily reminder of your big reason why. And that's what's going to drive you through that resistance. The next thing we need to do is have what I call a unique blueprint for success. So what is a UBS? Well, a unique blueprint for success is having a step-by-step action plan that's going to take you from where you are now to where you want to be. And this is a process I go through with my clients, and I do this on a one-to-one basis. We also have this inside the academy via an online course. And what's important that you do is, when you look at the things that are on your compelling vision, we need to look at the cost of those things, and then we reverse engineer. So let's say, for example's sake, you want to go on a holiday, or you want to have a certain amount of holidays each year. Well, you look at the cost and go, what's it going to cost to have, a couple of family holidays a year? Might cost you 10 grand. Okay, so how do we find that 10 grand? How many properties do we need that will pay off a certain amount each month to make that 10 grand? Do we need to have, a couple of buy-to-lets? Do we need to have a HMO? What's the easiest, quickest way for us to get that, given where you're at, the skill set you've got, and the resources that you have to be able to manifest that? And that's going to help you to choose the right business strategy or the right property strategy to achieve your life goals. All of a sudden then, when you start thinking this way, it's not about just having a bunch of houses. I mean, guys, look, I've been doing this for a long, long time. Bricks and mortar doesn't excite me anymore. I've done all the strategies out there. I've done loads of projects. I've gone through that learning curve and that growth. Property doesn't really excite me anymore, but what does excite me is the financial resources it gives me, so I can have life on my terms and I can do the things that are important for me. And this is why I want to share this with you, so you can learn how you can do the things that are important for you. So you start taking those things on your compelling vision that you want to have, and you reverse engineer them. How many properties do you need to fund your lifestyle? How many properties do you need to take the time off you need to go and spend with your loved ones? If you want to go and travel around the world, what amount of money do you need to have that? And how many properties would you need to make that happen? If you want to contribute to a charity, how much do you need to do that? So what we do is we go through this process where we take everything and go, right, we need X amount of money, and then we divide that down to how many properties we would need to sustain that. That starts giving you a goal. That starts getting you excited. That starts getting you to a point where you go, well, I really want to do this. I really want to push through the resistance. And the other thing is, when you go through creating a compelling vision, okay, and you go through this process of creating a UBS, we're going to show you some questions in a minute. These questions start to make you feel that these things are really real and achievable, okay? The reason this is important is because if we don't feel connected to our goals, if we don't feel connected to that vision, if we feel like it's a wish list and it's not achievable, not attainable, then we're not likely to kind of do the work we need to do to push through and make sure we manifest it and make it happen. So one of the things that's really important is, when you're going from point A to point B, you need to be very clear and specific about what you want. So we're going to go through some questions in a minute, which are questions that I teach. Now, normally there's 20 questions, but I can't go through all of those today. I'm going to give you about 6 of them, which I think are going to be enough. They're fundamentals to get you started. So let's dive into those right now. So when it comes to creating your unique blueprint for success, the first question you need to ask yourself is, what is the desired outcome? What is it you want to have happen? And you need to state this in the positive. So what do I mean by that? A lot of times people come to me and go, look, I don't want to struggle. I don't want to be in my job. I don't want this. I don't want that. Well, look, that's not very clear. What we're trying to do here through this process is program our mindset to focus on what we want. So it's really important that we state things in the positive. I want to quit my job is not quite the right thing. I want to be financially free. I want to be able to travel the world. I want to be able to spend time with my children. You know, whatever it is that you want, I want to be able to retire. Okay. We need to state it in the positive. The second thing we need to do is ask ourselves this question. What will it look like? What will it sound like? And what will it feel like when we have it? And the reason we're doing this is we actually start to program our mindset to associate with actually having it. Because when you feel it, when you can see it in your mind's eye, when you can imagine actually having it, it becomes way more real. This is an incredibly powerful process. I've done this with clients and they've gone, I actually feel now I can achieve my goal because it's not so separate from me, because they're starting to experience it. And what we're doing is we're programming your subconscious mind to associate yourself like you've had it. It just means that whatever the mind can perceive, it can conceive, it can manifest it, because it's going to start focusing on what you need to do to have it. The next question you need to ask yourself is, what kind of resources do you need to get you from where you are now to where you need to be? Do you need technical knowledge? Do you need a skill set? Is there information that you need? Do you need to cooperate with someone else? Do you need to boost your confidence? Is there communication, negotiation skills, persuasion skills? What is it you need? What are the resources that you need to get you from where you are now to where you need to be? Next question you need to ask yourself is, when do you want this goal by? There's no point having a goal or a vision with no end date in mind, because then it just becomes like a wish list. So it's important that we put a time frame in there, a deadline of when we want to achieve it by. The other thing is, where do you want it? Okay. And with whom do you want it? These are all powerful questions that start getting your mind to really cement and hone in on that goal. And the question you want to ask yourself next is, what resources do you have? And what resources do you need to acquire for you to be able to manifest your goals? So let's say you want to build a portfolio, or you want to expand an existing portfolio. What do you need? What resources do you need? You know, is there skill that you need? Is there a model that you need? Is there a blueprint that you need? Do you need to raise more finance? Do you need to have more time? What is it you need? Because otherwise, if we haven't got these things put down and thought through, these are all the things that will cause interferences and roadblocks that are going to stop you from manifesting your goal. And the last question I want you to ask yourself is, why do you want it? For what purpose, and what is your highest intention? And the thing is, when you start asking yourself questions like this, it's going to get you to think bigger about why you really want it. Because a goal usually is a means to an end, which is really for you to have your compelling vision, which is to live life on your terms. And that's what we're trying to do here. Okay, guys, we want to get you guys to living. I want you to be able to live life on your terms. I want to give you a blueprint and a roadmap here as to how to set goals so you can get from where you are now, whatever your current situation is right now, for you living your best life, doing the things that really matter the most to you with the people that matter the most to you as well. Okay, so let's move on to the next step. Okay, the next thing you need to do is develop a winner's mindset. Now, to get you from point A to point B, you're going to have a different set of beliefs. Most people have got limiting beliefs, and it's not until you get yourself out of your comfort zone, until you start moving forwards with your goals and you start meeting that resistance, that those limiting beliefs will surface. Limiting beliefs will surface when you start to feel any resistance, you feel any self-doubt. That voice in your head will start to say things like, I'm not sure this is for me. Maybe I can't get a mortgage. Maybe I haven't got the time for this. Maybe I don't know what I'm doing. What if I make a costly mistake? What if I get it wrong? What if I look stupid? All these what ifs. A lot of these things are limiting beliefs. A lot of these things are beliefs that will limit you and disempower you. And it's really, really important that, number one, you become aware of them. And number two, you start changing them to more empowering beliefs. The problem with limiting beliefs is most people do not realize that they've got them. They're hidden underneath the surface subconsciously. And it's only when you start doing something, you take action, you get out of your comfort zone, that they will surface. So it's really important that we change our belief system. The key thing here is, like, your belief system creates what I call your frame of reality, which is your current reality. Okay, whatever you're experiencing right now in your world, like whatever's going on for you, good or bad, it's all a result of the belief systems that you got. So if you've got, things going on in your life that you're wonderful and grateful for, and you really appreciate, that's because of your beliefs. If you've got things that you're struggling with, things that are challenges for you, again, it's down to your belief system. So your inner mentality, your beliefs create your external reality. So this is why it's super important for you to create a winner's mindset. And that's an easy process. The first thing you need to do is just become aware of those beliefs and start challenging them and not listening to the stories or the narrative you've got in your mind that's going to blow you off course or it's going to derail you from living your best life. And this is why it's super important to understand the 4 phases of implementation, and also why it's important to have a compelling vision. It's got to be compelling because it's got to pull you through the difficulties and the challenges you have when you have this stuff come up, okay? So let's move on to the next step. The final step that you need to have is you need to do what's called a skills gap analysis. So what is a skills gap analysis? This is where you find someone who's more experienced than what you are that can say, look, hey, if you're trying to go from point A to point B, okay, then, these are the skills that you're going to need. These are the resources you're going to need, okay? And they're going to help you to identify what gaps that you have. Now, everyone's going to have gaps in their knowledge. Anytime you try to do a goal or put a goal into practice where you're going to level up, you're going to have to acquire some new skills and a new belief system to take you from where you are now to where you want to be. So it's important that you find someone that's either more experienced than you, someone who's done it before, someone who can be a peer, a more experienced peer, someone who can be a mentor for you, who can show you how to get from where you are now to where you need to be. And they can show you what you need to do in order for that to happen. So it's really important, because one of the big things that happens is when people try to put their goals into practice, when they discover there's a gap in their knowledge or there's a gap in their skill set or a resource they don't have, this is where those uncomfortable feelings come up. This is where you get met with resistance. And this is where it's so easy to go, I'm not sure this is for me, and buy into those excuses and just get derailed and give up on your goals. Okay. Look, guys, we've only got one chance at this life. I don't know what happens afterwards, so we might as well make the most of it. And I really want to encourage you guys to just learn this stuff that I'm sharing with you, put it into practice, and go out there and do it. I think we've got a fantastic opportunity given what's going on in the kind of economic climate right now. There's going to be a lot of low-hanging fruit. There's going to be lots of opportunities given this recession that we're going to have. And also there's going to be an opportunity to really serve some of those people who might be distressed sellers, motivated sellers, and so forth, okay? So look, guys, this is what you need to do. This is an incredibly powerful process. I've gone through it myself many times. This is what I teach my private clients. This is what we teach inside the Academy members. And I want you to go out and use this and put this stuff into practice so that you can make 2021 your best year ever. Now, look, if you're looking to do even more deals and you're looking to do more deals through property and expand your portfolio, then you want to download my blueprint, which is the 4M's property success model. Now, in that model, I'm going to be sharing with you how to find motivated sellers, how to raise private finance, how to do creative deals, and also how to take action and overcome the procrastination. To download that, just click the link in the description and you can get that straight away. So look, guys, I hope you found this video really useful. Go out there, smash it, make your dent in the universe, put this stuff into practice. Comment below, let me know what you think of this, or let me know what your experience has been in the past of setting goals, how that's gone for you. Please like and subscribe. And also, I look forward to sharing more with you in the next video. So go out there, smash it, and let me know how you get on. Take care. Bye for now.